Hi, everybody. Happy Mother's Day and welcome back to the Aliens and Angels podcast. I'm having a small technical difficulty on Rumble, but just give me a couple of minutes and bear with me and we'll get this going. In the meantime, I will introduce you to the show. As I mentioned, welcome. Nice to have you here. So today I want to talk about a recent transdimensional experience that I had and the synchronicities that unfolded after it. So I don't always have transdimensional experiences. I never know when this is going to happen for me, but it does happen from time to time. And this is really interesting what I learned and what happened. So, although I was able to share much detail about my ET contact in my book, I was not yet aware of how my autism made this contact more likely and possible. So today I'm going to share more about this phenomenon and much more. And all of the links are featured in the description below. I want to thank you in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, and please do share my content with your friends. And I'm happy to announce that YouTube channel memberships are now available, so you can take advantage of my perks, and you can also help to support the channel. So I don't know what's going on with Rumble. Let me just check my settings here. Yeah, I don't know. I keep clicking go live and it doesn't want to do it. So I don't know. We may not have a live on Rumble today. And if that's the case, then I'll upload it. So those of you who are on Rumble will still be able to see it. Yep. I don't know what's going on with Rumble. But anyway, I'll keep trying. So what happened? Wow, I'm telling you, my transdimensional experiences are completely different, seriously completely different than my dream states. My dream states are kind of disjointed. They don't make a lot of sense. They're short segments of unrelated material. But when I have a transdimensional experience, it's very coherent. It generally lasts longer, and I somehow absolutely benefit from it. So let's just go to the live chat. Hi, Denise. Very nice to see you. Thank you for coming back, and especially on Mother's Day. It's really, really nice of you to come. Leah, nice to have you. Happy Sunday to you as well. And I think we saw Tony Ann. Yes, Tony Ann. Welcome to the show. Very nice to have you here. And I hope you all are having a really great day. Much love to you and thank you. So this transdimensional experience, this is really this is so uncanny. I still can't get over it. And this all happened this month. So this was in the early hours of April the 5th, early in the morning. I had a transdimensional experience. I don't have complete memory of the experience, but as usual for me, it unfolds when the time is right. So in this transdimensional experience. It was another being or entity or person. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure at the time. I'm more suspicious I know who it was now. And they were educating me about autism. And for those of you who've been following me for some time, you would know that I only just recently started talking about my own experiences as an autistic person. And the reason I haven't talked about it before was uh, I was raised thinking that I just something was wrong with me. I had no self-control or, like I was never diagnosed as a child or as a young adult. And so I sort of stumbled through my life with a lot of shaming. My parents were extremely harsh disciplinarians to try to curb my stemming. And to hide the fact that I was different. And as I went through my life, I still didn't get diagnosed until quite later. And by then, I was so used to masking because I was ashamed of how I was and how I was different. So, more recently, I've done more research about autism and realized screw it. I don't care what people think. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay, and I'm a different kind of person. And isn't that wonderful that we have variety and all different kinds of people on Earth? So, oh, thank you, Tony Ann. She says she loves my backdrop. Thank you so much. So, anyway, so I had this transdimensional experience and I was communicating and I was being trained, educated in this transdimensional experience by another being. And it was all about autism. And I was told that autism is not what people think it is. Yes, it can really cause problems in people's lives, not the autism itself, but because the world doesn't know how to accept us and accommodate us. That's the problem. So even though some people suffer a great deal due to their autism, some have an inability to communicate. There's just all different, it's a spectrum. There's all different ways that it can manifest in people's lives. And it's a huge kind of a burden to the caretakers, again, because the system is not set up for accepting people with autism. That is the problem. So anyway, and I was told that autistic people, this is sort of the wave of the future. Maybe not severe cases of autism, but certainly the way autistic people are, because the biggest difference, in my opinion, looking at things from my side of the story, is that we are more perceptive. We understand more things that normal people don't understand. And this is no disrespect to neurotypical people, but because we're unburdened from the way of thinking that has been programmed into neurotypical people, we see things very differently. And because of that, we see the cracks in the system. And we're able to know things and to share things that neurotypical people can't. And so it's not that I think one neurotypical and neurodivergent one's better than the other, but I think that we're meant to harmonize and work together. So anyway, I got all this information and it kind of blew me away, and I knew I had to share it. And I didn't really want to, but I knew I had to. And so I decided I would. So then, the same day, April the 2nd, I'm flipping through Facebook, and lo and behold, turns out it was National Autism Awareness Day. Now, what are the chances of me having this transdimensional experience about autism the same day as it being National Autism Awareness Day? And that's here in Canada. Some places in the world, it's Autistic Awareness Week or even month. So I thought, wow, that's very confirming and very, very interesting. So then I decided on the day after that that I would make notes of everything I remembered, every detail that I could remember from the experience, and I wrote it all down, and it's pages and pages of information. And then the day after that, I what came into my, YouTube feed was the series called The Telepathy Tapes. Now, if you folks have not listened to The Telepathy Tapes, which is a podcast series, season 1 is already out, and, Kai Dickens, the, producer, creator and producer, has also got a number of other, podcast out called Telepathy Talks. Just want to say hi to Van Darkholm. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming back. So, Van, I don't know if you caught the beginning of this, but basically, I'm talking about a transdimensional experience I had that was all about autism, and how the same day I found out it was National Autistic Awareness Day. And I thought, what are the chances of that? So, the day after that, I made all my notes, and then the telepathy tapes came into my YouTube feed, and I started listening to it. So I was shocked by what I learned. Like, I kind of knew about the telepathy tapes from other people, but I didn't really know very much about it. It was something about nonverbal autistic people being telepathic, but it goes so much deeper than that. So I watched one episode, the first episode, that day, and I was blown away. And the next day I listened to another, and then over the weekend I listened to quite a few. And long story short, within a week I had listened to the first series. So it turns out that autistic people, the more severe their autism, the more likely they are to be telepathic. But it even goes so much further than that. Apparently, being neurodivergent sets us up for being more telepathic and having different psychic abilities. And that doesn't surprise me, because in my own experiences with autism, it's kind of like not being here completely. Part of me is someplace else. And it's a real struggle for me to do things that are easy for other people here in the three-dimensional reality, because I'm not always well tethered to this reality. And it also really explains why I'm able to have transdimensional experiences, and how I'm able to naturally have telepathy. It's kind of hit and miss with me. It's not 24/7, but it definitely is there. So then I found out that people who do not have autism are also able to be telepathic. And apparently, we're all able to be telepathic. We just have lost the art of the skill to do so. And the number one thing that helps people to reclaim their psychic powers is to believe that it's possible. So, for instance, autistic, they found through this documentary series, they found that children that are born autistic into families, if one parent believes they're telepathic, then they absolutely are. And if the other parent doesn't believe it's possible, the children can't communicate with them and can't download their information. It's very interesting how belief plays a huge part in this. And, telepathy and psychic abilities have been proven for a long, long time, like more than 50 years. Even when I went to university, my psychology professor said, "Oh, yeah, it's a real thing." But we're sort of made to believe, we're kind of gaslit and made to believe it's not a real thing, or um, that it's fakery or trickery or whatever, right? But it's a real thing. So then, with their ongoing research from the series, The Telepathy Tapes, they found out that these autistic or neurodivergent individuals have the ability to go into interdimensional space. and they can meet there, kind of like psychic chat rooms. And they're not all in the same chat room. They can go to different chat rooms, they can meet up with specific people, and they teach each other all kinds of things. And that's why so many nonverbal autistic individuals are able to do what they call spelling to communicate. And many of them are very, very good at it. That's a whole controversy I'm not going to get into today, but I highly, highly recommend you listen to that podcast series called The Telepathy Tapes by Kai Dickens. Super important because we're on the verge of being able to do this globally, whether one is whether one is neurodivergent or neurotypical. So that kind of blew me away. And I went, well, that explains a lot. And then I came to understand that this being that was teaching me in transdimensional space was probably someone who had fairly severe autism that was actually a human. And I don't get a clear image of what they look like, but I kind of do. And I perceive them as being probably about 6 or 7 years old with dark curly hair in loose curls and little kind of bucky teeth, the way a 6-year-old who's just got their two front teeth, top front teeth grown in, and their eyes don't work, so they're actually blind. And I thought that was quite interesting. So then I went on to think about all the research that's done in other avenues that have nothing to do with autism. And I realized this is what the Monroe Institute has been trying to tell us for many, many years. So when people go to the Monroe Institute, they listen to specific kinds of, well, what I would call sounds or music that's in binaural beats, where it's a slightly different frequency in the left ear as the right ear. And they're able to go into these deep meditative states. They're able to astral project. They're able to go into trans-dimensional realities. So this has been known, well known, and experienced by many, many people over time. And now we're finding out that if we are neurodivergent, we have a much easier time doing it. And it's because our wiring is just wired differently. So I think that it's that more and more of us are coming out and talking about this because we want to educate everybody that this is possible. And as you would know, if you've listened to previous podcasts of mine where I've read from my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, I get into telepathy quite a bit, what that's like, what the training for me aboard the big ship was like. And it certainly explains my all of my transdimensional experiences. I'm very happy about that. The other thing that the neurodivergent people talk about is night school, where they go to bed at night and they go to sleep, but they meet up with other beings and they're not all human. Some are more angelic, some are giants, and some are probably most certainly extraterrestrials, and they have training during the night. That's much like my experience. And when we wake up in the morning, we're tired because we've been training and learning all night long. And so this is not just happening for me. And I was so excited to find out that it's not just me, it's happening all around the world. Doesn't matter the culture, biological background, many, many, many people are experiencing this. And so the synchronicities that unfolded. So first I had my experience, then the same day I found out it was National Autism Awareness Day. Then the day after that, I wrote out all my notes. So it wasn't like I watched the telepathy tapes and then made my notes. It was the other way around. And then I listened to the telepathy tapes and then later the telepathy talks. And I went, wow, that sure explains a lot. And it was very emboldening and um, affirming, and made me feel really good that I had that experience and that it unfolded exactly the way that it did. So, the point of bringing this up today is, first of all, I wanted to tell you all about it, but I also wanted to talk about how this totally confirms that this skill is available to all of us. And this is what the extraterrestrials told me. This is not a one-off thing. This is absolutely a real thing. Crow, man, I haven't seen you around for a long time. I used to see you quite often on Wes's podcast, and I've lost contact with everybody from there. But thank you. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. The fact that you're lurking. Please lurk away. I'm thrilled to bits. Um, yeah, so yeah, since the Velcro, I haven't actually communicated with you for a long time. I don't know if you even know about my book. I actually published two books recently, and one of them is about my transdimensional experiences with extraterrestrials. And there was nothing scary about my experience. It was wonderful. The hard part was coming back to the three-dimensional and having to deal with all the nonsense. But anyway, since that happened, it's easy to get caught up in alt media or mainstream media about the things that are going on in the world, as far as sicknesses go, as far as politics goes, as far as religion goes. And it's so much easier for me just to say, not my circus, not my monkeys. What's important is that in my own little world, I take care of myself and be the best Karen I can be. And a video I was watching recently with Catherine Austin Fitts as a guest, she said, it doesn't matter what the lawmakers are doing. She says, we have a choice. We have a choice on what we want to eat. We have a choice on whether we're getting enough sleep. We have a choice on how we lead our lives so that we can become better people, healthier people. We have a terrific amount of choice. And it's important for us to act on that and be sovereign of our own lives. That is the important part. And the rest of the world will just change as a result. So, how does that tie into transdimensional experiences? Well, I firmly believe lifestyle has a lot to do with helping us to biologically, physically be in a certain condition where we can then be more open to transdimensional and psychic experiences. So, I believe our physical bodies are technologies. We house the imagination. We house different glands in the brain. We house different energetic frequencies, and these things combine to help us to become the transdimensional beings that we always were, but we didn't know it. For a long time, this was strongly discouraged in society. Religion, and I got nothing against religion. If it's working for you guys, that's awesome. But in religion, the religious leaders, if you subscribe to certain beliefs or you had specific psychic experiences, you were demonized, you were labeled as evil. I know in my own life, I went to different churches over and over again, trying to find out why I was having these amazing experiences. And I was told, nope, you don't want to do that. That's evil. And you're opening yourself up for the devil and all that other kind of hogwash, which wasn't true. And then there's the whole psychiatric industry that is constantly gaslighting us, telling us that this is pathological and that we're escaping from the real reality and that we have to be in the here and now and all that hogwash going on as well. And so there are many forces that keep us compressed and in a box and keep us from basically becoming all that we can be. And it's important for people like myself to tell everybody about it. So I hope you'll share this with other people. Um, what's really interesting is there's a lot of people out there that have podcasts, and I look at their podcasts, and here they're getting, 50,000 views for every show. I'm lucky to get 100. And part of it is because I'm being authentic. I'm telling my truth, my way to the best of my ability. I think that's really important for me to do. It's part of my mission and the reason why I'm here. And so I don't worry too much about the views and the likes. Of course, if you want to share this, that would definitely help me out a lot. The more people that comment and appreciate my videos and share them, the higher it goes in the algorithm, more people will get my message. But at the same time, I'm not here to get likes and views. I'm here to sincerely share my message to the best of my ability. And hopefully, I'm doing some little good out there, because there's no better thing I could be doing with my time. I'm just going to go back and see if, nope, still won't let me on Rumble. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I'm just going to check it one more time. And I'm wondering if any of you have any comments, or if there's anything you would like to add to the discussion today, or anything. Just please do feel free to share that. Yeah, I can't get Rumble to work today. I don't know why, but there must be a reason. I just don't know what it is. So on that happy note, I'm just going to quickly share a 2-minute promotion for my books for those of you who haven't seen the show before or aren't familiar with my books. And of course, the links to Amazon so that you can get my books are in the description below. Learn the stunning details about ET diversity and culture, along with their advanced ways of living and expressing spirituality, which is in no way like anything imagined here on Earth. Transdimensional, Meet the New Neighbors, introduces you to many different ET beings, the healing pods, the interior of the big ship, my orientation process, cultural events, and off-world mating practices. In my contact experience, I learned a great deal about the big ship, intergalactic and transdimensional travel, intergalactic planetary research, and the various options for resettlement. Once I published my first book, I felt the need to create a second book called Transdimensional 2, Meet the Greys Picture Book. I worked with AI to develop many images of beings that we have come to know of as the Greys. These beings come from many places, realms, dimensions, and timelines, and although they are of the same species as other humanoids, they are from many different family lines and races. What qualifies them as greys is that their skin does not contain the pigment necessary to reflect light in our visible range of the color spectrum, so to us, they all appear to be various shades of gray. Beyond this physical attribute, there is much diversity in their origins, cultures, purposes, and physiological details. My goal is to get you used to the looks of beings which are different than humans in order to reduce your fear and increase your familiarity, so you will remain more rational and grounded once the ET presence escalates beyond debate. Enjoy these images and notice the things we have in common, so you will see that although they are different from us in appearance, we are essentially many family lines within one species. Paperback and Kindle versions of both books are now available on Amazon worldwide. Search the Amazon and Kindle bookstores and pick up your copies today. And we're back. So I think we'll end the show a little earlier today, because that's pretty much all I can think of to say. But it's also Mother's Day. I want to go and just communicate with my grown children and my grandchildren, and take it easy, and maybe go out and soak up some sun today. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And I also wanted to say, in the spirit of Mother's Day, I have a series that airs on about the third Wednesday of every month on my other show called The Quantum Guide Show, and it's called Mystical Mothers. And it's a panel of women who are mothers and grandmothers who want to talk about our perspective now that we have our eyes wide open, now that we are embracing our paranormal gifts. And we talk about how this plays out within our lives as mothers and grandmothers. So if that's something that you think might interest you, please do subscribe and put the bell icon on so that you'll get notifications and you'll know when the Mystical Mothers panel is going to air. And I'm probably going to continue doing that once a month. Okay, I just want to say hi to Kalina Angel. Hi, nice to see you. Beautiful podcast. Thank you, Karen. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Very nice of you to join us today. So, unless I get any comments or questions in the next few minutes, I'm going to close out the show today. Again, I want to remind people that I have another show on Wednesdays. It airs at noon Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, or 3 p.m., which is also 3 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, X, and Rumble is when we go live. And you're all invited to join me and my guests. And it's a little bit different show. I interview people from all over the world who have something positive to add to humanity. Either they're doing some kind of work that is a positive influence, or they have unique perspectives on what's going on in the world in such a way that it would bring, knowledge and wisdom to all of you. And that's the Quantum Guide Show. And then, of course, every Sunday, we have the Aliens and Angels podcast. And I believe I have a guest next week. Let me have a quick look at my chart. Yes, next week is going to be Dr. Joan of Angels. So I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Joan. She's very active on Telegram, and she has had experiences with angels and extraterrestrials. She's also a doctor of chiropractic, and she is an alternative health practitioner. So I know you're going to want to come back next week, bring your friends, and check that out. Oh, hi, Colleen. Nice to see you. Love from Palm Springs, California. Lovely, absolutely lovely. So nice to have you. And happy Mother's Day to everybody. So I guess we're going to end the show a little bit early today. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your Mother's Day celebrations to be here. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I also appreciate all of you who are watching the replay, and those of you who are listening on an audio podcast platform. I appreciate each and every one of you very, very much. And so I guess that is it for today. And we'll see you next week on Aliens and Angels. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good week. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available on Amazon worldwide. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. The like button and leave me a comment, and please do share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you'll also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.